Good morning, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing great, Charlie. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Well, the viewers have been asking in the comment sections of various videos, saying, "Well, what happened with the American guy who had the police called on him for speaking freely in an English pub?" And of course, you and I have been in touch, and here we are. So, without further ado, Rob, what's the latest from the police about the potential gulagging situation you were involved with?
Well, Charlie, I wish I had more definitive news at this point from you, but I'm still working on it. I have not received. So, if you remember from the last time, I told y'all that I had filed a report, a Freedom of Information report, to get a copy of the police action report, and then I had filed a report, a complaint against the police, and I haven't received responses to neither at this point. Now, the police action report, they had 30 days, so it's just coming on the 30 days, so they're not obliged at this point. The complaint, it says they try to do it within 14 days, and that has passed. So I have made my presence known both by phone and at the police station. And since I spoke to you last, I actually went. If you remember the event, the police coming was in Stretford, which is Greater Manchester. So I actually went to Stretford Police and talked to the nice lady that was there at explained everything that had happened, and she wasn't able to give me any update or anything like that. And it was very interesting because I had a copy of the police report, and she said to me, she said, "Where'd you get that number from?" And I said, "Why?" She goes, "Well, you're not supposed to have that." And I was kind of
You're not supposed to have that.
Yeah. And evidently, the person who files the complaint can have that information or get that information. But because I didn't file it anyway, and I just said, well, it was given to me. So I mean, I thought that was interesting. But at this point, I have not received anything, and I've gone back a couple of times to this Manchester Central Police, and the good man there. Obviously, he's getting to know me too, and he said, "Rob," he says, "You're not going to give up on this, are you?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm not." I said, "I have all the time in the world," and I said, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out the information till my dying day." Now, I think I had mentioned in the last time that I was a member of this organization, the Free Speech Union, and I had written them a long email explaining everything and with the video, and they got back to me right away, and they said, "We need a copy of this police report." And so I'm hoping once I get that information that they might be able to assist me, or we can get to the bottom of this and see if this is something that happens to everybody who dares speak freely in Manchester.
Wow, your situation, I'm hoping, as the eternal optimist, as I keep telling you that I am, that your situation might be the straw that breaks the camel's back of this oppressive state. Because I did a little bit of research. My friend Daniel, who has a YouTube channel called the Black Belt Barrister, he showed case law from 2016, showing that in this country there is such a thing that the police overuse called a Section 5 public order offence, where you cause alarm, harassment or distress to another member of the public. Right. And it's been used as a kind of catch-all, control freak legislation where you might be on the street corner speaking your mind freely. Right. A little old granny goes, "Oh, I don't like what he says," and then you get arrested. But the case law proves not only does it need to be alarming, harassing or distressing, which, you know, your or anyone's religious opinions might be distressing to someone, but the judge in establishing case law says no, it also has to be oppressive. So let's say you're in a pub, and let's say worst case scenario, you got on the table, "I am Rob, I am the Fourth Reich," and then you started screaming this and that. It might be oppressive, but just having a chat in a pub. And you mentioned this Free Speech Union. There was a former policeman at the High Court yesterday at the Old Bailey. Did you see?
I saw
that. The judges are now saying that the police recording hate crime incidents is not British. It's not. I don't think we have a constitution here, but it's not in the spirit of Britishness. It's not in the spirit of free speech. So times they are a changing, Rob. And you know, it's evidence for the public to see of what happened with you. How horrified you and I both are. How horrified the 23,000 people that watched the first video are. So on this note, should we go out and see some people in St. Peter's Square, and we could maybe discuss a few things?
Yeah, sure. But before we do that, I just want to, that whole hate speech thing is really interesting to me, because I want to know. I've yet to find somebody who could define hate speech, what that means, what hate speech means in a legal thing. Because I remember that there was in America, there was years ago when the U.S. Supreme Court was talking about pornography and what pornography is, and I remember one of the justices famously said, "Well, I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it." and I want, so hate speech, what does that even mean? And if I say something and somebody doesn't like what I say, does that automatically, I become offended? And
it's
that's
ridiculous.
Hate speech?
It's an emotion.
It's so broad.
Hate is an emotion. How can they ban emotion?
Well, I hear people say stuff that I don't like, and I'm sure not coming after them.
Yeah.
But again, I'm happy to talk to them and get my point across and let them get their point across, and maybe they'll change my mind, and all of that kind of stuff. But just the people shutting it down, that's the tamping down part, and shutting us up and making us go into hiding and having to censor ourselves. That's the part that really disturbs me, and should disturb every person.
100%. That way lies totalitarianism, lies control freakery. It lies, I think, we all have in our psychologies an element of disgust at things, but you've got to use your intellectualism to say live and let people speak things like Voltaire said. I may disagree with what you're saying, but I'll fight to the death for your right to say it. But there's too many people nowadays, not young people, not old people, just everyone, who cannot believe that opinions they disagree with are allowed out in public. How did we get to that, Rob?
I know that, and what? It's interesting because another thing that I hear is that you hear this word diversity. It's thrown out a lot. It's been pointed out to me. Oh, we want diverse this, we want diverse that, and everything like that. And they're all about diversity, unless you want to talk about diversity of opinion. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, that's not allowed. So
that's wrong thing.
It's just it's not. It's the place. Unfortunately, it seems to be a place where we're heading, and that's not a good place to be.
So, Rob, we're here at St. Peter's Square. Behind me is a coronavirus vaccination centre. Big queue, very nice long queue going down through the arches of people coming for their shots.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the face mask, politically or psychologically? How do you feel about it?
Well, Charlie, we've talked about that, and I've been real vocal about my feelings about the face mask. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I think it separates us. I think people become invisible. I think people hide behind it and use it as a crutch. I think it's being used as a crutch. To me, it separates us, and I don't like that at all.
I know, and I've been very open since the start of the pandemic that having a law which says that you're not allowed to go out with your birth face, which is what I call the normal face, it gives people who have issues with control freakery extra ammunition in their rifle, that it allows them to bark at people. And it's a classic line of the pandemic. Where's your mask? So, Rob, where's your mask?
Well, now I don't understand people that wear them out in the fresh air. Where's the science that says that makes it okay to wear a mask, that there's some benefit in wearing mask in the fresh air? When I see people walking around with masks outside, I just want to say, what are you doing? And what really makes me so sad is when I see families and I see them having their masks on, these little kids, the whole family's all masked up, and I guess they think that they're saving grandma or something. Yeah. But in the fresh air, why? What are you teaching your children? What do they're not allowed to show their face in public? It's crazy. It's crazy.
I know. And behind us, they're all wearing face masks in the queue. I did a lament, almost like a requiem this morning. I walked along and I try and stay humble, as I said to you earlier, that what if I'm wrong about my ideas? What if these people have just got amazing community spirit. But even if they do have amazing community, I get so terrified by the conformist element of it. These are people in their 20s. I'm just looking at them right now, 21 years old, 25 years old. Yeah. And the Manchester Evening News spoke to them, and none of them are doing it for altruistic reasons to save granny. They're all doing it because the law changed last Friday for COVID passes for nightclubs. So
it's buying freedom. It's buying freedom. We're getting to the point where, in order to be able to contribute, to participate in society, you have to do what you're told. And I know some people are doing it for travel purposes. Other people, I know there are people that some people that sincerely believe that. But I personally know a lot of people who are doing it because they want to participate in their classes. They want to go to concerts and they want to go to in all this kind of stuff. And I get it. I want to do that too. But at what's the price that some folks are paying for this? And it's the loss of freedom. It's the loss of freedom. And if that's where society is going, more people have got to stand up and say, you know what? I'm willing to fight for my freedom because this is a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, so, yeah.
You know what, Rob? It's been 2 years now, almost to the month. It's actually the summer solstice today, shortest day. It's a winter solstice.
Winter solstice, yeah.
Shortest day of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I didn't mind the British response or the world response. It's all the same. Back in March last year, we knew nothing about COVID-19. We knew nothing about what it did to the human body. We knew nothing about whether the Chinese Communist Party were telling us the truth. And so it was rational back then to lock down, big outbreak. But now 2 years later, when it's... Why are they doing lockdown again, Rob? And why has the mass vaccination led to mass daily cases and mass lockdown? What's going on?
You know, I think folks want to do the right thing, and they feel like, you know, they want to help out, and all the good British people and American people, everything want to do the right thing. And I think the response over these last couple of years has been so political. It's so political that people feel like we've been told different stories, and the stories keep changing everything. And I think folks are so frustrated by it because at this point they're like, you know, screw that. We don't believe you anymore. So the vaccine, when they came out with the vaccine, at the beginning it was, you know, if you do the vaccine, then you can live a normal life. Well, now it's, you know, got to do it with boosters, and you still can't live a normal life, and you still can't do that. It's the inconsistencies of it that have really made people frustrated. And I know I'm super frustrated, and I know a lot of people are. And even if you do believe in all of this, you're still frustrated. And I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, for me, it's got to the stage where with my government, with my leaders, I want to say to them, and I'm not even being facetious, I'm being sincere. You say, you are my administration staff. We have an administration to do all the hard works, roads, taxes, hospitals, schools. But you are my admin staff. I am the citizen. You know, I am the one that this is all done for, as is everyone else, as is Rob, as are these people walking past. So I want to say to the admin staff, thank you very much for the advice, for looking out for me, for my health, for doing the best you can when we had very little information, but I'll take it from here. I'm a grown-up man. I don't need mummy and daddy's permission to go out. And that's where I'm at now. I'm not going to become a revolutionary, and I'm not going to blow anything up, but I'm not going to just keep, you know, to be slightly rude, I'm not going to keep bending over when I'm a grown-up man, and I'll take the advice, but I'll go from here. Thanks for the advice, advisors.
And look, I can only speak for my situation. I got COVID right at the beginning of March of 2020, and then I was tested for antibodies a couple months after that when they came out with the antibodies test, and it came back positive. And to me, that was one of the happiest days of my life because I felt like I was free. I felt like I've had it, I have proof that I've had it, and I'm not going to live my life in fear. And that's what I decided that day, and I have done that ever since. And I'm not suggesting we couldn't get it again or anything like that, but I refused to live in fear. I'm going to live my life the best the way that I can I've got so many blessings, and I've got so much happiness and so much love in my life and stuff like that. And I'm not going to hide behind a stupid mask. And I'm not going to hide. I've just refused, because why should we at this point? And we need to, I think everybody should live a life, whether you've had it or whether you know you've had it or not, because it will come through. It will come through. And be smart, but don't the government forcing us to, you know, that's the part where you see what's going on in Germany, which you go see what's going on in Austria, where you see what's going on in Australia, where they've shut New Zealand, they've closed it off. I mean, it's scary, and that the thought of that coming our way makes me petrified. And I can go to where it's free. I can go back to Texas where I'm free. Yeah. But I want everybody to live in freedom. That's, you know, otherwise why bother?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, Rob. And for me, I hate the divisiveness that we get labeled as anti-vax. And my children have had their normal childhood vaccination. It's not about that. I'm not an anti-masker. It's about voluntary choice. If my family, which many of them have chosen to take the medication, good for them. They're free to do it. If people choose to wear a face mask because they don't want to upset the elderly or whatever, that's fine. But when it becomes a forcing, when you've got two categories of citizen in society, those that comply and those that don't, and you've got politicians coming out on TV saying we need to restrict the freedoms of those that don't comply, that's what I'm against.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. You know, we all have to make choices for ourselves and our family, and I think people should do that. But separating us into a dual society is not the way to go. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
No. Thank you very much, Rob. I've really enjoyed our chats today, and we'll get this one out.
Here. All right. Good to talk to you, Charlie.
Cheers. Thanks, Rob. Bye-bye.